Hey guys, we are live. My name's Grace Chavez. I'm NRT's Instagram manager and as of lately news editor. I'm super excited because today I'm going to be talking to Austin Lyons of Future Divine. He just recently started releasing music under Future Divine, and I'm going to be talking with him for this new series I started last month called Discover New Music. This is where I talk to artists, mainly independent artists, and get to hear about their music and how they got started and all that. Recently I started this, but I used to do something called NRT Live, which I will be picking up again soon. I had to cancel it this month just due to some complications and confusion, but I'll be picking that up again soon. But today I'm going to be talking with Austin of Future Divine, and this has been a great way for fans to get to know artists and, like I said, mainly independent artists. So it's been a really cool experience, and I'm super excited to be talking with him today. And I see he is just waiting. Hopefully this works good. All right. Hey,
Hey, how's it going, Grace?
good. I think you froze. Okay.
Oh,
It keeps freezing. I can hear you though, so that's good. Okay, I think it fixed itself. Can you hear me okay?
yes.
Okay.
Okay, is that better?
Yep, we're good.
Cool.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for doing this with me today. I'm excited.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And yeah, this should be good.
Yeah. So first, just tell us about yourself and how you started Future Divine.
Yeah, so a little bit about me. Born and raised in San Jose, California. So I still currently live here. Weather's always nice here for the most part. I started doing music when, let's see here, back in, gosh, like junior high for me, and I'm a bit older than that now. So I've been doing music for a long time. For a while, I was in a band called I Am Empire. That was a tooth and nail band. You know, back in the day. And then I started Future Divine about 3 years ago. Yeah, probably about 3 years ago. I connected with a producer named Gabriel Wilson. I emailed him just to work on songs, like songwriting. Okay, how do I
Mm-hmm.
write better songs for my church? This is really how it started. And he's like, all right, cool, let's do some songwriting and walk through that. And then I showed him some songs, and he was like, dude, we should just do a record. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's do that. So then we started going down that path, and yeah, been recording ever since, and um, releasing content and music. So
Yeah, that's awesome. And you briefly talked about how you're with a band called I Am Empire. Said that wrong. How was that? What was that experience like for you, and how has that impacted your music today?
yeah, so I Am Empire was a like alternative hard rock type band. I started in high school for me. I graduated in 2006, so we started it back then. Had a few name changes until it got to I Am Empire. Um, Toured a lot. I mean, a lot. We got signed to Tooth and Nail after had an independent release. And then we recorded 2 albums with Tooth and Nail. We were on the road like 9 to 10 months out of the year for probably 3 to 4 years, um, playing with some awesome bands, made a lot of friends. But yeah, that experience, being a little bit younger, doing the hard rock thing, going into this is, um, I mean, it's different because I used to go into a big warehouse and just jam with some friends, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we come with song ideas, and that was just the process for I Am Empire. Um, and then for this, it's like, all right, I sit in my room, I write the song, which I did for I Am Empire too. It was just I brought it to a different place. But for Future Divine, I'll email Gabriel and say, hey, what do you think about this? He's like, cool, I love that. Tweak this little part, and then we'll deal with it in the studio. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a totally different process, and also I guess the mission behind it is a little bit different too. because Future Divine really was birthed out of my church, and wanting it to be a worship album,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole reason for doing it, and it's really been my motive for music since I started, was to help people find their way back to God through
Yeah.
music, whatever that looks like, whether it's more alternative sounding, or what you would call worship music today
Mm-hmm.
sound. That's always been my heart. So yeah, they're a little bit different, but I've always got the rock roots, so
Mm-hmm.
you're always going to hear a little bit of that. There's a guitar solo on this record. There's a billion guitar solos on the I'm Empire stuff. My good friend Andrew Stanton, um, he's in a band called Disciple. I'm sure you've heard of them. They're an amazing
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
rock band. So yeah, it's different, but it's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Progressive.
I'm sure like being on a label and then going to independent music, like what was that like for you?
Yeah. So it's a little bit like the beginning of I'm Empire, right? Because we were
Mm-hmm.
independent for a while, and we were moving towards getting signed, and that was a goal of ours, to be signed by that label. Um, and so, it's not necessarily my goal now, because I've already done that. Um, but yeah, as an independent artist now, I mean, there's just a lot of freedom that you have.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have um, the same time crunches, I
Yeah.
guess, or waiting on the label
Mm-hmm.
as well. That tends to happen. Your record's done, and you have to wait 6 to 12 months for the
Yeah.
record to actually release, and you're like, what is happening? So yeah, there's just a lot more freedom when you're an
Mm-hmm.
independent. Do what you want, and I get to say what the single is, and um, all the above. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the biggest thing I've heard from independent artists. Like I was talking to a band called Klein last month, and they said just how the freedom of it has been like a big deal and not having to, release music at a certain time or whatever. So yeah, I'm sure that's a big plus to releasing music independently.
yeah, and the game's changed, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
release singles often, and with my previous band, it was releasing CDs. So we
Mm-hmm.
sold CDs, and Spotify was really um, it was a new thing towards the end of that stage of the band, when we were coming to a close, and bands at that time who were touring did not like Spotify. They did not like the whole streaming thing, because that
Mm-hmm.
meant you didn't make money anymore, basically,
Yeah.
right? So a lot of bands stopped touring at that point, and I feel like there was like a couple years where people were trying to figure out how to transition into
Mm-hmm.
that streaming world outside of selling CDs. So it was
Yeah.
an interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like I remember like being kind of on the fence about Spotify because of that. Like aren't artists like not getting paid for this? Because I used iTunes for like the longest time. I only recently got into streaming music, so yeah,
Sure.
it's been a big change.
Yeah, there's pros and cons.
Hmm.
I think right now, but yeah, at the time, when you're selling a CD for $10, you give the label $5, and um, yeah, it's just less money
Yeah.
when you pay for gas in your van and stuff. So
Hmm. Yeah, and then speaking of albums, you just released an album last month called Fully Alive. Um, what was the inspiration behind that project?
yeah, the inspiration behind that is it's really from a couple verses in John, and a situation that I had gone through as I was starting to write this specific record. But one of the scriptures is from John 15. I'm the vine, you're the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart
Hmm.
from me, you do nothing. And the other one is John 10, where Jesus says, I've come to give you life to the fullest. So those two verses really stuck out to me as I was basically managing and going through a season of anxiety that I really never dealt with before in my life.
Hmm.
Um, and there's stress and there's anxiety. I think there's probably two different things. They have different levels, right? Stress can be a good thing, but anxiety is generally not a great thing to be dealing
Hmm.
with. But yeah, so I had some panic attacks. It got kind of crazy for a little while. Had to step back and just reevaluate my life, and that's just a great time to write. It's a
Hmm.
great time to write music, and the Lord did a lot in that season. So a lot of the songs are about coming out of that season and how I did that. which is really about abiding in Jesus and surrendering to Jesus. That He holds my future. He holds your future.
Hmm.
That's the way that I got through that instead of worrying about the next day, the next moment, being fearful about what may or may not happen. Right.
Hmm.
Um, but I know a lot of people um, deal with anxiety, and there is a way out of that. Um, there absolutely is. I know in the moment it doesn't feel like it, and it takes work and it takes time, but
Hmm.
I think God brought me through that so that I can help people who are struggling with anxiety at this point in time.
Yeah, and I love how open you are about that because I struggled with anxiety for years, and only recently have I been able to find freedom, and of course that's in Jesus. So I love that you've opened up about that through your music, and it's something really relatable for other people.
Of course, I mean
Hmm.
that's music to me. You gotta, kind of open up a vein, and it's kind of let the blood spill out type of thing, right? It's kind of gross, but it's like you got to be vulnerable and you got to be open in
Hmm.
order to get great art. You know,
Definitely.
I don't really like writing superficial type stuff, so um, that stuff's fun to listen to sometimes too. But
Nice. And then that kind of leads me to the next question. What's next for Future Divine? Do you have any upcoming stuff by the end of the year or anything?
yeah, yeah. So I'm currently working on album number 2 with Gabriel. So I'll be going back to him. We're talking through all those details in the coming weeks. But yeah, there's 2 more singles coming out this year, and it'll be later this year. I'm very excited about them because while they sound like Future Divine, they feel like the next step of Future Divine, right? This first album feels like, okay, even for myself, like what is Future Divine? As
Hmm.
we're figuring out the sonic structures and how these songs are laid out, it's like, okay, this is a great first foundation. I am very proud of this record, and I hope that people enjoy it. I hope if you're watching this, you have enjoyed it or you want to go check it out. But the next 2 songs, they feel like the next step, so I'm
Hmm.
excited.
Awesome. I'm excited to hear it. And then I have some rapid fire questions for you. I always do this on these live streams. So are you ready for them?
Yes.
All right. All-time favorite song.
Ooh. Um, probably One Headlight by the Wallflowers. I'm
I've,
I'm a '90s
I've heard
kid.
of the band, haven't heard the
Yeah.
song, but
If you heard the song, you'd be like, oh, I've definitely heard that song. But
probably.
it's just a song that I really like.
Nice. And then favorite book other than the Bible.
Ooh, yeah. Okay. I do a lot of reading, so that's kind of a tough one for me. I'm looking at my books right now. Hang on. Uh, favorite book? Shoot. Um, oh man, that's a tough one. Um, I'm just gonna go ahead and say a recent book that I really liked. I liked a book by John Mark Comer recently. He's a pastor in
Hmm.
Oregon.
Yeah.
Uh, as that God Has a Name.
Oh, nice.
A really cool book. Just talks about the name of God, walks through you know Yahweh and all that type of stuff. So
Hmm.
I thought that book was really interesting and cool. Um, I'm currently reading a book called Stranger in a Strange Land, and that's it's a sci-fi weird book. Basically, someone's born on Mars and then back to Earth, so he's like technically a Mars. It's a weird, but stuff like that's fun. Oh, I'm sorry. There is a book that I love. Dune. I just I read Dune last year, and it was just incredible. So I'm really looking forward to the movie on that one. I am a little bit of a sci-fi nerd, dude, as you can imagine. But
Yeah, I see your Star Wars poster behind you.
oh
But then you mentioned John Mark Comer's book. I'm actually reading The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry right now. That's a great book. I'll have to check out some of
yeah,
his other ones.
yeah, that's a favorite too. I like that one as well.
Nice.
So yeah.
And then favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Um, let's see. So probably probably Paris.
Oh, nice.
Um, I was touring. We played a show in Germany. I like Germany as well. In Dusseldorf, Germany, we did a couple shows throughout the year. Um, so that area is definitely cool to be in,
Mhm.
but
Yeah. I've
it's far.
never I've never traveled outside of the US before, so I would love to go to Europe someday though.
Yeah. No, it's fun. In my earlier days, when I'm Empire had just started, we basically got stuck in Estonia. Do you know where Estonia is?
I'm guessing somewhere in Europe, but I'm very bad at locations and stuff, but
Um, but yeah, so we got stuck there for a whole two months. That was a crazy story.
oh,
But
nice.
beautiful town. Tallinn is amazing. I would love to go back there at some point as well. But it
That's
takes a
awesome.
while. You know, it's a long
Hmm.
flight.
Yeah, I'm sure. And then favorite Bible verse.
Well, I mean, currently it's John 15:5, which I discussed earlier. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain
Hmm.
in me, you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Abide
Good
in
one.
Jesus. Jesus,
Yep.
worship.
And then favorite song that you've written.
Okay. Um, I think. I think Fully Alive is probably my personal favorite, even
Hmm.
though I don't. I mean, it's like probably the slowest song on the record and the most like ambient one. So it feels a little different than all the other ones. But just lyrically, it just really encompassed, um, the whole concept that I was going for this whole record, and it was a really honest song for me. Um, that one and uh, probably Nightmare in the Day as well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. And then this is not a rapid fire question, but how can we be praying for you in your ministry?
Yeah, I mean, you could always be praying for just, creativity that is going to bless people, you
Hmm.
know, um, especially as I'm beginning the process of album number 2. Um, and that's probably it for now,
Hmm.
People enjoy the record that, it helps someone who's going through anxiety maybe and just points people towards a loving God.
Yeah, that's great. And I'll be praying for you, and I'm sure our staff will be too. So it was so great getting to talk with you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah. Thank you, Grace. I appreciate the time.
And
See you.
I'm not so sure on how the new Instagram format works, so I don't know how to delete you from this, but hope everybody has a great day and tune in next month for Discover New Music again. So thanks, guys. Bye.
See ya.